Now we're in business. Woo! Hello out there in video land. My name is Paul Kalanier. This is Your City, Your Voice coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. In the studios of 4680Q Radio on this really nice November. What is it, the 7th today? Yeah, 7th, November 7th, and it's like 60 degrees out. Half sunny here, partly sunny. There's a partly cloudy. I can never figure that one out. Who cares? Sun's out. There are some clouds. There you go. That's the weather. But yeah, what exciting stuff going on in this world. And we're going to talk about all that. And you know what I'm talking about today. You know what I'm talking about. I couldn't do it yesterday because I had absolutely to deal with. But today we're talking about it, and we're going to talk about it all. And yeah, it's going to be fun. I love it. I'm happy. But at the end of the day, I have to get to my sponsors first. No matter what, my sponsors come first. They pay the way, and we thank them for sponsoring the show. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Now, once again, I say this every day. It's a beautiful day out there, but we know what's coming. It's inevitable. We might sidestep it for a few weeks or 3 weeks or a month. But eventually it's going to get here. And when it does, you want your car ready to go. You don't want to be monkeying around in the snow, breaking down, and you got to call CA on the busiest day of the year. No. What you do is you take your car to Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. You talk to Ken Hunter, and he's going to give you a free end of summer inspection. That's right. He's going to look at your brakes, your suspension, your tires. He's going to do a computer scan of your car to make sure that everything is running tip-top. Any error codes, he can tell you about them. He can take care of them, and you'll be good to go for the summer. Now, he's also going to check your fuel fluids, your lighting, and he's going to take your vehicle for a test drive down Oakwood Drive to make sure that it's running tip-top. Can't beat it. No charge. If there's anything wrong, he'll fix it for you, give you a price, and do the work. And I call that being proactive. Get your car down there and get it checked out before winter. You don't want to break down before winter. Now, he also has a full body shop. So if anything's wrong with your car as far as body work goes, you get in an accident, a fender bender, doesn't matter. Take it to Ken. He's going to take care of you. He'll make your car look showroom new. You'll be happy. I'll be happy. Ken will be happy. Your car's going to be really happy. Tell him Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. He's going to be saying, well, thanks a lot, Paul. Yeah, thank you very much. And we thank you for supporting our sponsors, local people who do good for the community. And also, I thank you for listening in on the show on 4680Q Radio and watching the show on the YouTube channel, because it is on the YouTube channel every afternoon by about 3 or 3:30. And you can watch it live. Subscribe. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Tell me I'm full of baloney. I don't care. It's important that you get involved. And any comments that you do put on there, I'll gladly get them on air. Yeah, why not? I want to hear what you have to say, and so do my listeners and viewers and everything else. They all want to know what you have to say. So before we get into anything, tonight is a big night around here anyway. It's the night for the Rick Rose Music Foundation concert at Big Texas on Ferry Street. Now, the Rick Rose Music Foundation helps kids get into music with instruments and lessons and that kind of thing. And it's going to be a big event to raise money for the Rick Rose Foundation. And who's going to be there? Well, every local singer and songwriter. There's a whole list of people who are going to be performing there tonight at 7 at Big Texas on Ferry Street. And it starts at 7 o'clock, like I said. Who's going to be there? Well, they call it a songwriter's tribute to Rick Rose. So we have Aaron Berger, Andy Colinico from Revive the Rose, Angela Siracusa, Dan Diggins, Dylan Mars, Evan Rotella, Frankie Peterangelo, Martin Murray. Haven't heard that name in a while. I haven't seen Martin or heard of him. Paul Antonio, Ryan Lunn, and Rita Visser. Now, there's other people who are probably going to be performing, and I don't see Chico Sanchez on that list, and I know darn well my buddy Chico will be down there giving it his best for sure. Now, tickets are Available if you go onto the Danima website, on Danima.com. You can buy them through the website, $25. And you can buy tickets at the door. There's still lots of tickets left, so you're good to get in. Don't worry about it, but it could sell out. And tickets at the door are $30. Doors open at 7. Show starts at 7:30. Get in there. And, thank you to all these beautiful, beautiful people who are sponsoring this show. I have to write this. Robert Greatrix, and that's a chartered professional accountants. Lupo's Little Italy on Wheels, NIC Incorporated, Chip and Charlie's, Angel Siracusa Music, Big Texas, and Danima. And you know what? There's probably more, and I apologize. I'm just reading off a poster here. But it's a tribute to Rick Rose, and if you knew Rick Rose, he owned this studio here where we do our broadcasting, and just a great guy. Gave me the opportunity to get on the radio and have this show, and we miss him here. When you come in for a couple of years and you see him every day here and talk to him, and then all of a sudden he's not there. Yeah, we do miss Rick Rose, and this is to continue the great work that he did in the city, and to continue on with the Rick Rose Foundation his family started, and it's just a great thing. Go there and see what's going on and enjoy the evening and support the Rick Rose Music Foundation. And there you go. So here we go. Oh boy. What about Tuesday night? You know what I'm starting with today. There's no doubt I'm going to start with the election on Tuesday night. The complete rejection of the biased Biden-Harris administration and their total platform and what they did over 4 years to really wreck the United States. Donald Trump is once again president-elect of the United States of America, and what a historic win this was. They're calling it the greatest comeback in political history. And that's not exaggeration. As Joe Biden would say, and I just saw him on TV giving a speech about the election, but I had to go. I didn't catch it all. So, he was there. This isn't hyperbole. This is fact. This is the unbelievable comeback. You think of it. And we're going to talk about the 2020 election for a second later on, but let's just get into what happened this year. What did this guy, Donald J. Trump, have to go through? 2 impeachments, 4 indictments, 97 counts of committing a felony, and a possible 700 years in jail. I mean, the trials all started as he began campaigning for president. He walked through the Iowa caucuses, and was the nominee, beating everybody in sight, including some big names like Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley and others who were running to try to run for president. He destroyed them all. And away he goes, and right when he starts campaigning in the spring, of course, they start indicting him. 6 weeks of trials. He could only campaign on Wednesdays when the courts were out, and on weekends. But he did it. Unbelievable. You talk about election interference. Well, there it is right there. That's election interference. But he overcame all of that. And that's not the end of it, folks. No. That didn't deter him. He campaigned when he could throughout these kangaroo courts. And of course, all the media was against him, plastered all over the papers every day. And him being referred to constantly as a felon, a convicted felon, because they did convict him and everything else. But everything's going away now that he's elected president. Believe me, they were going to go away anyway. Now they're going to go away right away. He's out, and that's it. And they used the U.S. justice system against him. They weaponized it, Biden and his crew. And he got through that. Then he had to debate Joe Biden, which was a joke. It was just ridiculous. It wasn't even a contest. He screwed him to the point where Biden had to step down. After that debate, and they had it before the Democratic convention, just to see how Biden was going to perform. Well, after that debate, that was the end of Biden. They forced him out in a coup d'etat. And once he was campaigning against Biden, then he had to turn around and campaign against their next choice. And they didn't choose anybody a democratic election. They didn't choose it by that. What they did was they just appointed, anointed, and then they crowned Kamala Harris as the next representative. They didn't go through the convention and elect anybody. So weeks later, the Secret Service was told to stand down and allow a shooter to get 8 shots off at Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. And by the grace of God, um, he got his ear nicked by a bullet, inches away from death, maybe closer. The Biden controllers said Joe can't win, so they pulled him. Second debate was against Harris, was another sound defeat. I mean, Trump just ruined her as well, just destroyed her. And after that, her campaign began to implode with a goofy VP pick, loser celebrities, and her inability to explain her flip-flopping platform that made no sense. Add to that the gaffes by Biden, Waltz, Obama, Mark Cuban, and Harris herself, calling Trump a Nazi, a fascist, calling his supporters garbage, saying he's surrounded by weak women. It all came crashing down on Harris on Tuesday as her platform and vapid fake persona was soundly rejected by the American people. And here we are today. Trump winning in the landslide, which I said he was going to do for the last month and a half, 2 months. I've been saying that. It's not even going to be close. Trump is going to win by a landslide. And if you didn't see it, you weren't looking. I'll tell you, because it was all there. The writing was on the wall. The writing was on the wall. But I mean, like if you have TDS, you wouldn't notice it for sure because everybody was voting against Trump, not because he had a bad 4 years, but because they hate him. Why are you voting for Kamala? Nobody could tell you. Name one thing she's done. Nobody could tell you. I just hate Trump. That's why I'm voting against Kamala, because I hate Trump. And and that backfired on her. She really thought she was going to win this. It wasn't going to happen. Trump went through hell and back for the American people. He took a bullet for the American people. Worked tirelessly for the win, doing 3 and 4 rallies a day, and he never stopped. His last rally was at 2 a.m. He got out of his last rally before the election day. This guy is unbelievable. It's unimaginable that a person could have that much energy and stamina at his age. I mean, by 10 o'clock, I'm whipped. I don't stay up till 2 a.m. anymore. But congratulations to President Trump, Donald J. Trump, J.D. Vance, his supporters, the American people, and most of those that were on our side took a lot of flack about all of that. But it was worth every comment I got that I'm an idiot, a racist, a bigot, a moron, a jerk. All of those comments, they didn't faze me. I stuck to where I was. We are now unburdened by what has been and look forward to what is to come, to put it in Kamala's words. Now, J.D. Vance was a great choice for vice president, and he really helped the situation. Vance destroyed Tampon Tim in his debate. Tampon Tim looked like Elmer Fudd sitting there. Yeah, he was terrible. And he went on to destroy the left-wing media in interview after interview, making them all look silly, exposing their agenda. And you got to congratulate J.D. Vance and his family, and he's going to make a great vice president. He's educated, he's articulate, he's young, he's a millennial. Yeah, this guy is very, very good. And the GOP, that old Republican Party of the days gone by, it's not the same party anymore. There's no semblance to the rhinos that were running the show in cahoots with the left-wing radicals. No, this is the Trump Party. That's over now. Now, with Kamala running away and not conceding, that makes me laugh because they were yelling at Trump about denying the results of the election. And what a bunch of insurrectionists they are. They should really be impeached, right? No, they shouldn't. Remember when they impeached Trump for that, though? Yeah, that's what he got impeached for. But finally, on Wednesday, later on, she came out and she did concede, saying there will be a clean transfer of power, but yelling and screaming about blah, blah, blah. Kamala, newsflash, you're done. You're done. After January, you won't have anything to say about anything. You're not going to continue the fight. No, you're not going to do nothing. You're going to go to back to California that you ruined, and you're going to shut up. And that's what's going to happen with her. She's done. She's done in politics. So since Tuesday, of course, I've been watching the news. Like I don't let anything go. I watch it all, right? And the mainstream media stations, as well as the left wing media and the Democrats, have no idea why they lost. They really don't know why they lost. They can't figure it out. People are screaming, they're crying. They're oh, geez, they can't believe they voted for a felon and a rapist and a Nazi and a fascist. They don't know. They don't get it. They don't get why they lost. I mean, if you can't self-reflect at this election, take a look at the party and why you lost. If you don't understand why you lost at this point, there's no hope for you. Joy Reid's blaming white women. White women didn't vote. They didn't get out and vote for Kamala. Others are blaming black men. Obama. If you're a black man, you got to vote for Kamala because she's black. What is this? The OJ trial? Some are blaming misogyny. Oh yeah, all you men out there, you're scumbags. You won't vote for a woman for president. You're still a bunch of scumbags. And they're blaming men for not wanting to vote a woman into office, especially a black woman, which Kamala isn't anyway. She's Jamaican. She's not African American. Some are blaming Latinos. It doesn't matter. They're pointing at any group of people. Asians, it doesn't matter. They're blaming them that they voted for Trump. And, you talk about racism. Well, I mean, come on. They're also using her limited 107 days of campaigning, saying that the people really never got to know her. Pardon me, everybody, but wasn't she vice president for 4 years? Isn't that enough days and months, weeks to get to know her? Well, I guess not when you're doing nothing and you're not in the press because you're doing nothing. I guess you don't get to know somebody. She did absolutely nothing. So they're blaming Sleepy Joe for not stepping down sooner. That's another good one. Oh, it's Joe Biden's fault. He should have stepped down sooner. Well, I got a news flash for everybody. Everybody around him said he was sharp, and he was sharp as a tack. He could take on everything. And even Kamala herself said that. 2 weeks before he stepped down, well, he didn't step down, they threw him out. She was telling everybody that he was sharp as a tack. He leads all the meetings, he makes decisions. And then 2 weeks later, they're stabbing him in the back and getting rid of him. They're not above blaming anybody for what happened, including each other. Now, the funny thing is, here, they're not blaming an incompetent candidate who was appointed, not elected, and a really bad choice for VP. Kamala couldn't even tell people why they should vote for her. Because I'm not Trump. I'm not a racist. I'm not a fascist. I'm not a felon. And they dropped the felon part real quick because that's not flying anyway. People got tired of that. And rightly so. The last 4 years with Biden have been a disaster for Biden and her. So, yeah, of course she has nothing to say about that. And for America and the American people, if you want to even go that way. Her continued rhetoric about Trump being a Nazi and fascist, her continued disrespect for American people, especially the American worker, Waltz being such a left-wing lunatic, Tampon Tim, all celebrities being forced to support her when even they knew she's a defective candidate. And the ones that did support her, who really did support her, they believed in her, guys like De Niro, they were off their rockers, talking stupid to the press. They didn't do her any favors. She just couldn't tap into America, their wants and needs, the terrible 4 years with open borders, high inflation, low job numbers, 2 wars, high gas prices, no support for police or border authorities, basically a declining standard of living, especially the middle class. I remember when the muckety mucks of the auto workers said they would support her, but she never got one vote from the rank and file. They were all going for Trump. The workers wouldn't support her. She decimated the car industry. She didn't want fracking and decimated the Pennsylvania coal and oil and gas industry. And also they tried to pull dirty tricks on Trump. Every time they pulled something on Trump, it backfired. The impeachments, the indictments, the criminal charges, the shootings, the garbage statements that his followers and him were garbage, Nazi, fascist, their lies about everything. They all came back to Hunter at the end and on election day. I mean, they would have been better off just leaving Trump alone, going about her business, telling her what she's going to do for the people, and just leaving Trump alone. Don't go after him, because every time they went after him, he got stronger. He didn't get weaker. They didn't take any chunks out of Trump. He got stronger. And people started seeing that it was just hatred for him. You can't win a campaign with no game plan, no platform, and no ideas. Let's face it. Insults, fear mongering, and abortion won't work. That's it. That's not enough to get you elected. And that was proven on Tuesday with Trump's landslide win. Will the Democrats, who are now in shambles, figure it out and rise like a phoenix out of the ashes for 2028? Probably not. Their arrogance won't let them. The radicals have taken over the party. They are now exposed. They're going to have to face J.D. Vance in 2028, probably, right? He's probably going to step up and run. And he could be better than Trump. And you know Trump is going to show him the way and get him ready to take over. And yeah, I mean, it's basically a 4-year university course in governing and running for an election. I hope I'm still on this earth to witness it in 4 years. I hope I'm still alive. I can't wait to see it. So, one last thing, back to the 2020 election. I said I'd mention this. I always said the election was rigged, and Trump continually said it was as well. He was called an insurrectionist and impeached for it because he believed it was rigged. So you tell me, Obama, one of the most popular presidents ever, got 69 million votes. Kamala, 68 million votes this time around. Biden got 81 million votes. Say that's true, which I don't think it is. Where's the 14 million votes he got? What happened to them? They just disappear? Trump didn't get them. Trump was sitting around 75 million, the same that he had last time. I think I last counted him at 72 and change, and with stuff still coming in. So he never got those 14 million votes. Where'd they come from? And how did they evaporate into thin air this election? I mean, this proves right there, these numbers prove that there was irregularities, and these votes came from who knows where. And if you look at the numbers, you'll see that I'm not telling a lie here. Now, Kamala's parting concession speech yesterday was pretty funny, really, telling people it's going to be all right. Kamala, it's going to be all right? You're telling people it's going to be all right? They're going to be all right? You just spent 3 months telling people that a Nazi was taking over the country, Hitler, a fascist, a felon. So he gets elected and you're telling people it's all going to be all right? They don't even remember what they said. Maybe she should have told them before. You know, she should have told them that before. They're going to be all right, no matter who wins. No. Now she's telling them, and maybe she should really be telling them to run for the hills before they're loaded onto boxcars. I mean, she didn't think they were going to be all right if Trump won at the beginning of the week. I'm going to miss these lunatics and their nonsense. The left-wing media are out of their minds, saying Americans have given up on democracy while watching a person who never got a single vote anointed as the one to run for the party. Can you imagine? Talk about democracy. The hypocrisy is unimaginable. Now, the mainstream media is dead. Let's face it. Joe Rogan got something like 90 million views on his interview with Trump. And none of these shows, any of them, I don't care what talk shows or whatever, they're never going to get that. That's the new one. And Kamala wouldn't do it. So she never helped herself by not doing it. Another mistake. But I mean, they're relegated to fear mongering, democracy gone, economic collapse. That's all they have at this point. White podcasters celebrate, wild podcasters celebrate the end of Bidenomics and open borders. The MSN cries the blues. This is the difference in what can be unburdened by what has been left behind. Favorite quote of Kamala. She's now been left behind. I was watching The View yesterday. I managed to check it out, right? And Whoopi saying the reason that Kamala lost was because Trump is always in the news and became familiar to everyone, so they just voted for him. And Harris was not as well known. Well, Whoopi, let me tell you something here. And I'm sure she's listening in on my show, Whoopi. I'm going to ask you a question nobody asked you. Nobody bothered to ask you on The View when they should have. Whose fault is that? That Kamala was not as familiar to everybody or well known to everybody as Trump. I mean, listen, you guys, Whoopi and her gang continually impeached, indicted, arrested, detained him over the last 4 years. They're the ones that put him in the news every day. It's their fault that he's more familiar. People know who Trump is, not to mention he was a celebrity before, but to continually do these things to him. I mean, of course he's more well known. They took him to court daily for 6 weeks, and every day he gave a news conference. And then in Georgia and in Florida, he's making the news because you election interferers wouldn't leave the guy alone. They indicted his sons. They raided his home. Of course he's in the news as a former president and as a celebrity in his own right. They indicted his sons. I mean, like Kamala, nobody heard of her for 4 years. She didn't do anything, wasn't anywhere. And she was tapped to run for president. She did nothing. She's not in the news. She was never in the news. And her boss, decrepit, bumbling, and stumbling, offering sound bites like the cannibals ate his Uncle Bozy. I mean, come on. Any press that she would have got, Joe Biden sucked up with his wacky comments. Uncle Bozy getting eaten by cannibals. So it wasn't Trump being in the news. It was you putting him in the news daily there, Whoopi, and between your hate for him and TDS syndrome. If that was the reason he landslided Harris, well, thank you, Whoopi, and the other hags on The View. Oh, so what happened to the riots? Remember, I was saying they're gearing up for riots. They had martial law ready to go. They had everybody in the around there, big fences around the White House, and the National Guard ready in every state just in case. Remember that? Well, the win was so decisive, and the vote so diverse. There was no one to riot. Blacks, whites, Asians, Latinos, the alphabet people, straight people, it didn't matter what. They all watched and listened to common sense. They all watched the Joe Rogan interview and they went and voted. And it was a mix of people. You talk about uniting people other than the TDS sufferers, people who just hate Trump because they hate him. The country really did come together. Everybody voted for Trump, and that's why he landslided her. It was a dynamic shift in how people meet the candidate and see what he was really about when they watch the podcast. I mean, everybody in the United States got what they wanted. You don't have to riot when everybody votes together for the candidate they believe in. It was a beautiful thing to watch, and that's why there was no riots, because everybody got what they wanted. Everybody got what they wanted, and if you don't think that Democrats voted for Trump, I think you're wrong in this one. This time, I think he did get the Democrats who were tired of the last 4 years and wanted better for their families and themselves and what Trump represents. But I do have some concerns for Trump right now. It's a very dangerous time right now because between now and Inauguration Day, they're not above taking him out. The left-wing radicals, the Russians, the Iranians are all wanting him gone and have threatened to JFK him. That's an actual threat. So he has to watch the next 3 months at least. They're going to be watching and gunning for him, and rhetoric has to be calmed down by everybody else against him, and but it's not. It's not. So we'll see what happens. So anyway, was a great election. It worked out exactly the way I saw it work out. I was on. I gave my 305 EC votes is what I predicted. That was my over under, and I thought that he'd get more. Now somebody said 297, and he's around 297 right now. So that person was pretty well bang on as it stands now. But there's still more states to come in. I still think he'll be over 305. But when the person said 297, he said he would have to win all the swing states to get over 305. And I'm going, yeah, exactly. That's what he's going to do. And that's what he did. So there you go. We'll see what the final results are here. But it looks like he's going to win the House. He won the Senate. He won the popular vote. He won the White House. Now it's just the House we're waiting for. I think he's at 20, I want to say 210 right now, 208, 210. And there's still about 15 seats outstanding that they're waiting to come in. And the guys who are running are leading in all of them. So he's probably going to get to 218 and take the House as well. It's going to be a clean sweep when it's all said and done. Congratulations to Trump, to J.D. Vance, to everybody for a tremendous campaign, doing the right things. The historic moments that we saw after he got shot, his fist up, fight, fight, fight. And then after the lies about Kamala working at McDonald's, him leaning out that window in a Norman Rockwell Americana moment, waving at the crowd with the McDonald's vest. And then finally, after they called all his followers and him garbage, he comes out in a sanitation truck, a garbage truck with big Trump on it, and that vest that I wore for 2 days, that vest is showing his love for the American people. So, I mean, these were iconic moments that were created for him. He didn't create them. They were created for him by the left. Every time they did something that helped him out. So congratulations to everybody. And we're going to see a good shift in the whole American policy. Now, Canada's going to be affected by this, or people think they are. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But first, I want to get to my second sponsor, Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. Okay, so, I'm a pretty big pizza snob. And when I get pizza, it's got to be something that I like and is made properly. And I'm talking about good sauce, good crust, the right ratio of cheese to sauce. And somebody who knows how to put a pizza together and cook it right. And that's Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. I love their pizza. I had a piece this morning, to tell you the truth. And Mike, the guy who owns it, he worked in an Italian restaurant for 15 years, so he knows a little bit about pizza. And he's managed to use that Mancini family recipe. Mancini family started Pete's Pizza 40 years ago, and he's put it together properly with great crust, Mancini recipe, great sauce, Mancini recipe, and make a great pizza with it. Now, they've been around for 40 years, and they're celebrating their 40th anniversary, so they're offering 2 medium pizzas with 3 toppings on each for $25. You can't beat that. That's a great price for a pizza. You got to call Mike and get one today. And they're offering that till the end of the year to celebrate their 40th anniversary. Now, he's got a full menu down there. I mean, if you don't want pizza, you can have poutine, you can have panzerotti, you can have, oh gosh, they got everything. You name it, they got it. Wings. There's a full menu, 3 pages of stuff that they cook down there. And for your convenience, he's decided to stay open. I think he stays open till midnight on, if I'm not wrong, on Sunday till Thursday. He's open till midnight. And Friday and Saturday, he's open till 2 in the morning. Yeah, so that you get those late night munchies on a Friday or Saturday. Yeah, and you go to Pete's Pizza. He's open. He's got everything for you. Pete's Pizza, Victoria Avenue. Give him a call today, 905-374-2222. Or go to Pete'sPizzaVictoria.ca and put your order in online. You're not going to be disappointed. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. You'll be happy. I'll be happy. And you're going to be really happy when you bite into that pizza, believe me. Okay, so we have a lot of people talking about this election really, really hurting Canada. They're going to put tariffs on everything. Canadians are going to go broke. You know what? Stop with the fear mongering. Stop with the fear mongering. Everybody, relax. Relax. Canada and the US not only have existed together since time immortal, they've traded openly for centuries. Come on, this isn't gonna change anything. The US is our biggest trading partner. Hell, most companies in Canada have US parent owners and always have. And we already have a trade agreement in place in the US. It used to be called NAFTA. Now it's called the USMCA, United States Mexico Canada Agreement. And all goods are covered under that agreement. And by the way, since that agreement came into place in 2020, trade has increased by 46%. So is it hurting Canada? No, it's better. But it does come up for review in 2026, and Canada had better come to the table ready to deal with Trump. Right? Perhaps Trudeau will be gone by then, and a better negotiator who actually likes Trump. As we saw Trudeau stab him in the back. He's nice to him to his face, and as soon as he turned around and left, he called him a bunch of names. Trump doesn't like him at all. But we'll renew it, and any concessions Canada needs from Trump, they may get. He likes to negotiate. He likes to work with people. You got to work with him, and he's not targeting Canada. He's targeting places like China and India and Germany. Say a place like Germany who sends their cars over here, the BMWs, Volkswagens, and Mercedes. They send them over here, but they take no Fords or Chevys or Chryslers over in Germany. There's a big discrepancy there. He wants to even out the playing field. And he doesn't owe Canada anything, by the way. But having said that, there is a tight bond between America and Canada, and not only socially, but as friends dealing with friends, that'll continue just as before. I mean, unless Canada tries to dump goods on their market into the U.S. at prices the U.S. manufacturers can't compete with. And, we have to watch. We do have a 40% advantage on our goods because of the low Canadian dollar. So, I mean, he's going to have to act to protect jobs and industry and people there. But it doesn't end there. I mean, if he gets goofy with stuff, Trump, remember, and Canada's done this before. They could also start to impose tariffs on American goods. I mean, you can get into a trade war, and we've threatened to do that before, and he's responded. But Trump understands one thing, and that's business. What's good for the USA is good for Canada, and vice versa. It's nice to deal with someone that understands that. So don't buy into the fear mongering. If anybody has a problem with the USMCA or tariffs, well, look to your fearless leader. He has to step up and deal with Trump. I mean, Justin Castro, he's not a good negotiator, apparently, from what I've seen, and Trump is. So the better Trudeau is at dealing with them, the more concessions he's going to get, and the better it is for Canada. So, he's got to do that. And I thank you to Ray Spiteri for the great article on this. And all I can tell people is relax. Relax. Don't worry about it. I mean, we depend on the United States for a lot. And they also depend on us for a lot. And we've been good friends for years. They're not going to screw that up. Now, Premier Ford has the right attitude as far as I can see. In his congratulatory statement to President Trump and VP Vance after their victory, he told them that now is the time to bet big on Ontario and the U.S.-Ontario relationship. And he's right. He's right. But, Ford kind of makes me laugh, though, because you remember when the election was going on, he was bragging about his great relationship with VP running mate Tampon Tim. That's a check mark against him for sure. If Trump knows this, but I don't even know if Trump pays attention to these bozos here. Anyway, Ford says Ontario is the number one export destination for 17 U.S. states. Yeah. and the number two export destination for another 11 states. He says he wants to look forward to working with U.S. leaders at the federal, state, and local levels to strengthen Ontario's trade and economic growth. That's a good thing. So do I. I look forward to that. And Ontario alone did 493 billion with a B in two-way trade with the U.S. last year. Only Canada and Mexico do more trade than little old Ontario. That's amazing, really, when you think about that number. A province does as much as anybody else, and only Canada and Mexico do more in North America. Countries. Now, Trump isn't being bamboozled by this EV craze neither. Drill, baby, drill. And that has Ford a bit concerned because the province has invested billions of taxpayer dollars in EV plants in Ontario. And basically, what we see is they're in the process of being mothballed because nobody wants them. Nobody's buying EVs. They're sitting empty on the lot. And all these companies that said they were going to go full into EVs by 2025 or somewhere around there have pulled back from that now. And they're just not selling them. And they're going into, say, hybrids and stuff like that. And his drill, baby, drill. This is going to be more gas, more oil. And that's got everybody a bit concerned in the EV industry, but not for people. Regular people say, great. So, I mean, it could be further pushed along by Trump, of course, because that's his mandate to be the largest producer of oil and gas and bring the price of gasoline down for everybody. The price of gasoline goes down. More people are going to be driving around in their gas-fired cars, right? But I like this for Niagara Falls because Ford is having a big push right now to make our city the world-class tourist destination and wanting to up the ante on tourism in the Niagara region. He feels that the 12 million tourists we get a year are a drop in the bucket, that we can really, really expand upon that number by offering more casinos, some kind of entertainment like amusement parks and that kind of thing. So you're going to be looking to Ford to really bump this up. And of course, when he bumps it up with an international airport in Niagara Lake and other things, it expands our market from rubber tire traffic, rubber tire people, who come here, stay for a couple of days, to people who come for a junket and maybe stay 3-4 days a week, right? So that's what he's looking for. And I don't think that's going to hurt us with Trump being over there because, like I say, he loves to have deals made. Now, speaking of celebrities, I hope all these left-wing lunatics like De Niro, Cher, Oprah, Taylor, So Not So Swift, Liz, and Dick Cheney, Matt Springsteen, Cardi B, Beyonce, all of The View, Gaga, Farrell, and other losers keep their promise to leave the country if Trump wins. I'm hoping to see their private jets flying away today. Yeah, and yesterday. Get them out of there. They promised they were going to leave. Well, please do. But you know what? Don't come to Canada. Don't let them in. We've got enough of our own left-wing loonies to deal with. We don't need any more. We don't need you here. And thumbs down to Kamala for sending some flunky out to announce her supporters that she won't be coming out to speak, and she ran away on election night. Kind of a classless move for people who supported her and were in the crowd in tears about what was going on. And an insult to those who spent 107 days fighting for her. Okay, so enough of that. Don't get excited, Canadians. We're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. Our deals are in place. We have a lot bigger things to deal with in this country than what Trump's going to do. Start straightening out the country and get an election going here and get rid of this goofball that's been around for 9 years, killing us. And get somebody in there who knows what the hell they're doing. That's what we got to worry about. Don't worry about the Trump being elected. Okay, today I have a whatever happened to. Now, I don't know if you remember me talking about this, but in St. Catharines, they had a self-cleaning bathroom. Do you remember that? I was talking about it. And the idea was to have this self-cleaning bathroom, and it cost like $500,000. It wasn't cheap, but it was supposed to get rid of all the maintenance that you have to do. And basically, it's hooked up to water power and everything. And what happens is that when it gets dirty every so often, it locks itself up and it starts spraying and disinfecting everything in there that goes down a drain, and it dries itself out. And it's a public bathroom that anybody can use, and just a convenience for people. They were going to put them all around St. Catharines, and they're supposed to save money because staff doesn't have to go in there and clean them every day. They clean themselves and that kind of thing. Well, it was installed by the fire station in St. Catharines, hoping to keep vandalism down. But now they've given up on it and closed it down. They've mothballed it and put it away in a warehouse somewhere, because the vandalism was just too much. And they had some pictures, and you don't want to look at them because they're pretty sickening, really. People are screwed up. And they include smearing excrement all over the inside, filth, needles, setting it on fire, self cleaning drains clogged, signage torn off the walls, lights and plumbing fixtures damaged. The panic button broke many times. They have a panic button in there in case you get it in trouble in there. You can press the button, somebody comes to save you. And graffiti scrawled across the walls. And the pictures that they took to show on, the story I read were they had a warning on them because they're so gross. They warned you not. They're disgusting. Now the city, when they first put them in, had them open 24 hours a day. That didn't work, so they limited it to daylight hours, hoping that people wouldn't screw around with them and mess them up in daylight. Well, that didn't work out too well. And it was only in operation for 50% of the time since it was installed because it was always broke, people breaking it and ruining it due to vandalism and damage. I mean, what a great idea and what a nice convenience for people. When you're walking around and you got to take a leak, you don't know where the hell to go. You got to run into a restaurant or whatever. Well, these were just made for that. Nice and clean, self-cleaning and everything. Anything good people ruin. But it turned into a fiscal nightmare for them. It was almost 600,000 to put in. It's going to cost another 50,000 to remove because you got to hook all the power and everything, and you got to hook it up and you got to move it and put it into storage. And it's only been around for like 16 months. That's how long it took people to destroy it. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. But anything that's good out there that they want to try and hope it works out for people to help people out when they're out and about, always get screwed up, and there's always people who are going to do that. So now it's in mothballs, sitting there, and maybe they can use it somewhere else. They're hoping to put it maybe somewhere where that's guarded or that they can watch it so nobody wrecks it. But sad. But it's going to cost another 60,000 to hook up when they do that because they got to have power, they got to have drains, they got to have water, they have to have all the hookups for it, right? So anyway, that's what happened to that great idea that went down the tubes faster than the Titanic or faster than Kamala. It was around for 107 days, so yeah. Thanks to Karen Walter of The Standard for the great article. Pick it up and read it in the review if you're an online subscriber, or probably in the paper it was too. And finally for today, I hope this makes its way down the QEW to Niagara Falls. The bane of my existence. E-bikes, scooters, a whole bunch of them. Well, Toronto's cracking down on these e-scooters and electric bikes and the other one-wheeled devices. You see these guys running around on these one-wheeled things. A total of 16 people have been killed or seriously injured on these devices, and police have had enough. That's it. Cops are going, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And I've had enough of them myself. I mean, they're a menace on the roads. Riders follow no rules of the roads. Right through stop signs and stoplights. They don't have any regard for that. Up on sidewalks, cut right in front of you. They don't care. They don't care. None of them are insured or have any training to ride on the roads. They're not licensed. And the choice of travel for those who have lost their license most times for one reason or the other, and a lot of times is drinking and driving. In Toronto, electric kick scooters, skateboards, unicycles, and hoverboards are not even allowed to operate on Toronto's roads. But there's a lack of enforcement, and that's the problem. And that's what's going to change. To me, they should all be licensed and fees paid. They should also be forced to abide by laws and have, at the minimum, liability insurance, because if they smash into your car, you're paying for it. Your insurance is paying. They have no insurance and they have no money. And they have to be subject to all the rules of the road that any other car would be. And if you don't have a valid driver's license, you can't ride them. And you got to be wearing helmets. You can't pull trailers behind them, shopping carts, big garbage bins. You can't drag stuff behind them. You can't put 3 people on them. You can't drag a wheelchair guy behind you. Oh, you can't believe the things that are going on with these things. I mean, they're so unsafe and so dangerous. And then you see people getting killed, and you wonder why. Oh, a guy in a scooter got hit. Oh, a guy in a scooter got hit. And I'm not talking about disability scooters. No, I'm not talking about people who are disabled and have the electric wheelchairs or have the little rascal scooters to get around because they can't walk. I'm talking about just these guys riding around in these things, because most of those people have respect and they do it the right way. But I'm talking about these goofballs, these other ones. And you got to get rid of the menace once and for all. They got to end it. And if the police don't have time to police it and take them off the roads, then somebody else has got to find time. And the way to find time is to license them all, make them license them, make them pay, and then we're going to get rid of a lot of them, because a lot of them won't be able to get a license or and they don't have a license to get a license, and they don't have money for liability, so they're going to be out to lunch. And everybody's going to say, but they have no way to get around. That's the only way to get around. A baloney. We're spending $15 million plus on the transit system in this city. Look at your taxes. Watch the region when they run their transit budget, and our share of it. It's going to be more this year probably. Listen, they can get on a bus. There's lots of ways to get around in the city if they want to, but it's a lot easier if it's electric. They don't have to pay a cent. They not have no responsibility, and there's nothing you can do about it. Right? That's why we have transit. Use transit if you don't have any other vehicle. If you can't afford it, they have money for everything else. I see them all on cell phones driving around. Cigarettes, drugs, booze. I see everything else. And they don't have money to license these things or to get liability insurance. Yeah. Don't let it fool you. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you. They have money for bus tickets and the things that they want. Anyway, that's my rant for today. Other than that, I got nothing else to say. I'm just happy about Tuesday night. I'm just happy it went down like I thought it would, and that some back to common sense and normalcy. Is that what they call it? Normalcy is coming back to the United States. The borders are going to be closed. They're going to deport all these illegals. Oh, they're gonna baby drill. The price of stuff is going to come down. I mean, there's a big agenda that Trump wants to complete. He never had a chance to complete it his first time around. And no matter what you call him, a fascist, a racist, a messiah, I don't care what you call him. Everything was better for that 4 years where he was president. You might hate the guy, and a lot of people do, but you cannot hate what he did when he was president of the United States. It's coming back, everybody. Be happy. And keep your eyes open on what's going to happen, though. There could be some trouble. There could be some trouble before the end of it. And we witnessed history. We witnessed history. And it doesn't get better than that. In years to come, when these kids in their 30s are going to be in their 60s and 70s, their kids are going to be asking them, like I asked my mother, do you remember World War II? Do you remember World War I? Do you remember when Kennedy got killed? There's these points in history that you remember. Your kids are going to say, "Do you remember when that happened and what it was like?" And you're going to be able to say, "Yeah, I was there. I witnessed that history." It's really funny. You talk about history and that. I remember when I was sitting at home with Liz and her nieces were over, Haley and Kelsey, right? And I'm sitting there watching when that space shuttle exploded. And Liz says, "Why don't you put cartoons on for the kids?" I said, "No, no, this is historic. This is history right here." And to this day, those kids remember sitting there that day and watching what happened with that space shuttle. And I'll guarantee you now, one of their friends can say they saw it. They didn't witness that. We're witnessing history. Your kids are witnessing history. Historic event. It'll be remembered. Take that to the bank. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q Radio. Don't forget to support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop on Oakwood Drive in Niagara Falls and Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. We'll see you tomorrow, finally Friday. Have a great day. And I'm going to go and watch what's going on in the news now to see what the rest of Biden's speech. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.